Good morning, guys. Today's video is going to be covering some controversial things, so I want to start out with the following. This video serves as a discussion starter for the Commander format. Some or all of the ideas can be implemented, but the major focus is to have the community look at, discuss, and hopefully resolve some of what I consider to be major problems within the format. This video is not meant to call out, vilify, nor attack any members of the Rules Committee, CAG, WotC, or anyone else. Okay? Okay. The Commander format is run currently by the Rules Committee, a group of non-Wizards of the Coast employees that curate the format. Their website is linked in the video description below. The Rules Committee runs the format because they're the creators of the format.
Why are you the one who gets to decide what is banned and is not banned? Why are you the arbiter in this case and not someone else, such as either Wizards of the Coast or just another group of people, another group of 5 to 7 people?
We started this thing,
Okay.
right? I mean, I created this format out of an idea.
This has led to much dismay as their banning process, rules changing processes, and makeup are not completely transparent. This persisted for a while and the MTG community did not like it. The CAG, or Commander Advisory Group, was made to help alleviate this problem. The CAG is made out of popular MTG personalities, prominent figures, and content creators, and their job is meant to filter feedback from the player base to the Rules Committee. To address the transparency issues, I am proposing a dissolution of the Rules Committee as the governing body of the format. I want Wizards of the Coast to take over and continue having the Commander Advisory Group, probably renaming it with Wizards of the Coast members added and maybe keeping 1 or 2 of the original Rules Committee figures as well. I believe Wizards of the Coast is very transparent with banning reasonings and have a vested interest in keeping the most popular format of the game running smoothly. The CAG would then serve as a rules committee that is easier to communicate with, while also having a higher level of visibility. I believe that the current status quo serves no one well. Ban list is confusing and seemingly arbitrary. Some rules like hybrid mana are contentious based on nothing but an ill-defined spirit of the format. My proposed restructuring would help alleviate these issues. Next, to address the play design issues of the format, I propose that we dissolve the entirety of the ban list. Yes, the whole ban list would be gone, and instead the format would adopt the vintage ban list. This would remove anti-cards, Shahrazad, flip cards, other dexterity cards, that kind of stuff. Once the ban list is gone, we then add a points list. Much like the Canadian Highlander format, a points list would be a list of cards that are pointed. Feel-bad cards like Armageddon, powerful ramp cards like Jeweled Lotus, tutor spells, and even broken commanders would be given a point value. And the point value persists for the entirety of the Commander format. Doing this, the format can be split into 4 sub-formats or tiers. Tiers are separated by how many pointed cards are allowed in each of the sub-formats. Tier 1, this would be no points. This tier serves to cater to newer players, very casual players, budget-conscious players, and serves as the lowest powered tier. Players coming to the table and seeing the game is set to Tier 1 will not only be disincentivized from crushing or pub stomping a table, they will be unable to do so because more powerful cards that are feel-bads, will be pointed and thus not allowed in the tier. This option may prove to be very popular amongst LGS-only players. Tier 2 would be a house-ruled points total. This tier aims to serve those with a consistent play group with their own meta. By clarifying you're playing a Tier 2 deck, you indicate to others that the deck's power level can fluctuate from the norm. If your home meta allows for X points as the allowed maximum in your deck, you're either going to have a higher or lower power deck than Tier 3, which we'll get to in a second. This tier is meant to encompass small, local, or friend group metas and is probably best not played outside of those meta. Acorn cards could be allowed in this tier as well and could either be pointed or just not allowed in the format. Tier 3 is the 7. This tier is where your average deck goes. This tier has a universal point cap. The cap would be shared for tournaments, locals, kitchen tables, whatever. Everyone has a mutually agreed that Y is the cap, whatever number that may be. This is potentially the most played variation of Commander, as it allows people to optimize and make hard choices in the deck building process, weighing the pros and cons of adding, say, a doubling season or an omniscience in the deck, as you couldn't have both due to a theoretical points disparity. I believe these choices would add a whole new layer of complexity to the format, force some variation in deck building, and also allow people to have a theoretical, even playing ground no matter who you played against. If every deck right now is going to say it's a 7, we have to define what a 7 is, and I think the point system would help do that. Lastly, tier 4 is the no point limit or competitive tier, where flashing in a protein hulk off a turn 0 gemstone mine is just a really tight play. This is the tier that lets you go hog wild and optimize while also retaining the ability to play stupidly powerful and broken cards. Really, right now, the Moxen are banned, but Soul Ring is legal. There's not a lot of consistency when it comes to cards like this. Note that this tier actually might need a point cap at some point. It would probably be double or more of tier 3's cap and just allow for a much bigger pool of pointed cards to be in every deck. However, I think starting out with a no point limit competitive version would be hilarious to play. Implementing the tier system would allow players to have a much better understanding of the power level of each other player's deck. The points list would be updated like the ban list is now, with the new rules committee acting as a go-between for feedback with Wizards of the Coast. With the casual nature of the format, there is a much wider audience of people, and filtering the feedback is very beneficial. Additionally, with tier 1 as an option, you can easily opt out of the entire discussion and just play without pointed cards. This drastically reduces how much you would have to follow Magic news and updates and just let you always be able to play the game. I believe these two changes, a restructuring of the rules committee and an establishing of a tier system defined by a pointed card list, would greatly assist in easing a lot of the issues of the format. If you agree, have suggestions for cards you would want to see pointed, or think I am a crazy no-name YouTuber who doesn't know what he's talking about, I'd love to hear about it down in the comments. Again, this video is meant to start a conversation within the community to identify and correct issues within the format. This isn't meant to call out any particular member of the rules committee, CAG, WotC, or any other group. I'm just wanting to restructure the format because I believe it has many issues that are inherently due to having an outside third party control the format. Alright, thanks guys.